Welcome back to the program, everybody. Time now to check in with one of our faves. It is Kim Baer, attorney at law, to give you some advice and some things to remember in case something unfortunate might happen to you. So first we have to say, good morning, Kim Baer. How are you?
Not too bad. How about you, Lou?
We are doing awesome as always, but we want to talk about a situation where maybe somebody is not doing awesome. Maybe they are injured and they need to file a claim, and there are some important things that people really need to remember when it comes to this, aren't there?
Yeah, absolutely, Lou. I thought we'd just go over some basic points that we would want everybody to know if they've been in an accident, whether it's a car accident, truck accident, you've taken a fall, or you've had a dog bite. And the first point that I would like everybody to remember is that you generally have a 2-year statute of limitations. And so that usually is going to run from the day you got injured. And so you've got 2 years to file your claim.
Okay, so keep that in mind. So you have 2 years to file the claim, right?
Yes. I mean, there are some exceptions that you might fall into if you're, for example, a minor, or we also have a discovery rule. But for the most part, I tell people just assume it's going to be 2 years unless you work with a lawyer and they tell you differently.
Okay, so you have that. So that's checkbox number one. And what's the next checkbox we need to fill?
Right. So when the accident happens, make sure that you take photos of the cars. If it's a car accident, make sure you take photos of the cars before you move the cars, because that's critical. And then also, if there are witnesses to whether it's an accident, a dog bite, or you fell, make sure that you get those witnesses' names and phone numbers. A lot of times people assume that the police are going to do that, and they don't, and then it's impossible to track those people down.
Okay, I want to go and mention, you said a dog bite here. You wanted to take a picture of the dog and the bite wound. Is that what you're taking pictures of?
Yeah, you're going to take a picture of the dog bite, the wound, where you were walking, if the dog jumped a fence, so just basically any photos to show kind of what happened.
Okay, so that's number two. Now, next thing we want to do is, in case somebody's been hurt, this is really important to remember, right?
It is. When people call our office, we always tell them we want to wait until you're completely done treating to make sure you're going to be okay before we try to settle your claim or file a lawsuit. And that's because if we settle your claim, you're done. So if you think you're okay and then the week afterwards, after it's settled, you realize your shoulder's bothering you now, it's going to be too late. So we just want to make sure you're done treating.
All right, now let's go over and switch gears, so to speak, to car accidents, because there's something you need to keep in mind when it comes to car accidents, because proof is always something you need, right?
Yeah, proof is always something you need, and a lot of people don't realize that we have a lot of video cameras now at intersections and certainly on the freeway. Most of that video is on a loop, and it runs every 6 to 7 days. So if you've been in an accident, you want to call very quickly and request a copy of that video.
Okay, so yeah, because they re-record over what they have, so that's something to keep in mind. So if it's a car accident, you want to check out if there's any traffic cameras and get that video before that time period expires. Now, if you have to pay a medical bill, tell everybody how they need to do that.
Yes, and so we tell our clients to make sure that you use your health insurance so that you get that discount. So for example, if it's a $10,000 hospital bill and it's paid by your health insurance, maybe you'll only have to pay back $3,000 or $4,000. Otherwise, you're going to owe the hospital the full $10,000. So we want to make sure you use your health insurance for your medical bills.
Okay, let's go back to the car. Say your car was totaled. What do you need to do if your car was totaled?
Right. So you want to look up the value of your car on Kelley Blue Book and NADA, N-A-D-A, and make sure you're looking at the retail value, not the trade-in value. And remember, the first offer for your car is usually not the last offer that they'll make you.
Okay, and then finally, of our checklist here, just to keep in mind in case you have a personal injury claim to file, talking about cost to you, out-of-pocket costs.
Yes, so keep receipts. If you've got co-pays or maybe you had to buy crutches, take photos of your bruises. One of the things we're always trying to do is to explain to the adjuster or the jury what you've been through, and photos are very helpful, and so are receipts.
All right, so many things to keep in mind in case somebody unfortunately experiences something like this. They want to chat with you to get your advice and just to figure out where they need to go, how to navigate the landscape. Where can they go?
Yeah, absolutely. You can give us a call at either 515-INJURED or at our law office, 515-279-2000. We're always happy to take a phone call and talk to you about what's going on.
Kim Baer, great advice. Thank you so much. So in case anybody does have anything unfortunate happen to them, those are just some of the things you need to keep in mind. Thank you so much, and we will talk to you next time, buddy.
All right. Bye, Lou.